It's been 9 months since Benji was rescued from the empty house where he watched his caregiver pass away. If you've missed parts 1 to 4, you can find them over on his YouTube playlist. Part 1 is all about how Benji became a rescue dog and how he ended up finding a foster home with a lady who was experienced with senior epileptic staffies like him. In Part 2, we looked at how he got on during his first 24 hours in foster care. Part 3 covers the first few days, when he's starting to decompress, get to know his new environment. We talk about his diet and healthy weight loss. He meets his behaviourist, and we have a discussion about the impact of stress levels and trauma on his body, as well as the relevance of the gut-brain axis. In Part 4, Benji introduced you to his trainer Lorraine from Burnham On Pets, who's been visiting regularly throughout the process. So catch up if you'd like to, because now we're going to start Part 5. Benji had this very large skin tag on his elbow and it needed to be removed surgically. The vet team were absolutely brilliant. They put so much in place to help him feel comfortable and as safe as possible throughout the whole thing. They let him stay with his foster mum until he'd gone to sleep. They worked quickly but carefully, called us as soon as he was awake, and he was home in no time. The total for this procedure ended up being £355, 300 of which was very kindly donated by West Country Bullywall. The original quote was nearly 700. We're so grateful to everyone who donates towards medical bills. He was finding his feet at home and really settling into fostered life. His epilepsy was under control, but something very strange was going on, and he kept having to see the vet to try and get to the bottom of it. He was going through bouts of vomiting, and we were really worried about pancreatitis. The body language you're seeing here was telling us he might be in a lot of pain. At the time of filming this, he'd already seen the vet twice for sickness. They said it was unlikely to be his pancreas, which was a good thing, but also without a diagnosis, we didn't know how to help him. He'd been given anti-nausea injections and some tablets to help settle his tummy, but it wasn't working. We took these videos of a sorry-looking Benji to his vet appointment so that they could see what he's doing at home. This was his 3rd appointment with sickness, and they gave him another full once-over. Benji's vet agreed to listen to his intestines again to see whether he thought there might be pancreatitis there.
Again, slight increased gut noise. Again, as I've said before, things like pancreatitis, obstructions tend to reduce that gut noise.
This part was a bit tricky for the vet because Benji's got a lot of fat around his abdomen. He wasn't worried about pancreatitis, so we finished up with the last question on our list, which was about joint health and mobility. We were also pleased to hear that he was happy with the results of the skin tag removal.
It looks better now with that skin tag.
Oh yeah.
There's no sign of anything serious going on, but what would be an idea is to give him is just an anti-nausea because he's a bit off his food, as you say.
So once again, Benji went home with an anti-sickness injection, but as soon as it wore off, he was vomiting again. We set up a meeting for his foster carer, with his clinical behaviourist, key volunteer and a vet nurse on the team. We booked an urgent appointment first thing in the morning and requested an abdominal scan. But when we got over to the veterinary hospital, they said that a scan wasn't going to be necessary and that he could go home. When the professionals overseeing his care were told about this outcome, they sent us back to the vet that afternoon and insisted we ask again for the blood test. The vets got back to us quickly with an update. The message on the screen, which explains there was an elevated lipase in his bloods, which means there's inflammation of the pancreas. They were able to confirm that the vomiting was most likely related. This is life-threatening in some cases, and he needed pain relief straight away. Unfortunately, that wasn't all. The medication that stops Benji having seizures was getting to a toxic level in his blood, so we'd need to reduce it, but slowly enough to make sure that he didn't get more seizures again. We can see from his old medical history that at one point in his life, he was having 5 seizures a day. As the weeks passed, Benji started to feel much better in himself. To keep his condition at bay, Benji's needed to adopt a mostly vegan diet. His food will be carefully monitored for the rest of his life. Denzel's Dog Treats had very kindly donated a big box of low-calorie treats. Some of his supplies come from people like yourself who watch these videos and then donate through his Amazon wishlist. And around the time of his diagnosis, we were given a voucher by Pets Foundation. Those of you who have linked your Pets at Home VIP card to Spirit of the Dog Rescue had collected enough points to turn into monetary vouchers so that we could buy his medical diet food, which has taken a really good chunk off of his overall care bill. The vouchers have also got him this indoor camera, which has been an absolutely invaluable tool when getting him used to being left for short periods of time. The added bonus was definitely the way that it was packaged. It made a fantastic enrichment box. 3 weeks after his diagnosis, Benji went back to the vet for repeat blood tests, the ones that checked how he was doing on his epilepsy medication and whether his levels were too high. Things were looking good, so he stayed on the same dose for some months, until recently when he had another check and they decided to reduce it yet again. His next one's in December this year, and we'll keep you posted on that. As for the pancreatitis and the pain that comes with it, it's a really tricky condition to manage because you have to constantly monitor what they're eating for the rest of their life, but his foster carer is doing an amazing job, and he's been stable with that ever since. Unusual behaviour is very, very commonly linked to pain. It's really nice to get some feedback from Benji's foster carer about how much better he's been feeling since his pain has been under control.
She's gone out again.
Well, it's nice to hear that you're seeing such a big difference in him.
I have huge difference in him. Huge. He, you know, when he first came, did a little waggle and that, but nothing like what he is now. He's been a proper playful dog.
Oh.
I'm so pleased that we found out what it is.
We absolutely agree. It was such a relief to just finally have some answers about what was making him so poorly. Considering everything Benji went through last December, he's doing incredibly well.
I'm proud of him, and he is a good boy, and he's such good company for me. I just can't imagine being without him, even though I haven't really had him over long. And he's such a little character.
Life's always going to have its ups and downs, but with the right support network, Benji can achieve anything. Benji's got one more topic to talk to you about whilst we watch him thoroughly enjoy these treats we were given at one of the app dog meetings at Parliament this year. It's a plant-based brand, very cleverly named after the noise we all make when we give our dogs a snack. If you're still watching this, firstly, thank you so much. If you believe, like we do, that dogs like Benji with medical needs deserve that chance of a happy family and a new life, just like all the others, please consider donating to Spirit of the Dog Rescue. We're a small, registered charity run entirely by volunteers, and we rely on your donations. Benji's going to need medication for the rest of his life and ongoing blood tests. With your help, we'll be able to make that happen for him.